there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kristin, and if you are anything like me, then you feel like you have been cooking dinner non-stop. Well, we've all been stuck at home, and one of the ways that I always teach people to save major money is by meal planning and meal prepping. So today I want to share with you my very best meal prepping hacks that are going to help you as a busy mom still be able to get dinner on the table every day without feeling like you're cooking all day long. Now, if you're new to my channel, I make videos all about saving money, living frugally, paying off debt, and one of the ways I truly believe that you can save a substantial amount of money every single month is by meal planning and meal prepping. Now, meal planning is the first and probably the most important piece of the puzzle. I did a video showing you my exact meal planning process before, and when you're done watching this video, you can go ahead and check that one out. But today, I really want to focus on the actual meal prepping. And the reason I think it's so important to meal prep is it really keeps you from wasting food. And we all know that when you're wasting food, you're basically just throwing your money away. So it's going to keep you from wasting a lot of food. It's going to keep you from running out of time at the end of a long, busy day when you realize it's dinner time and you haven't even started cooking. So you just decide to hit up the drive-thru or order takeout that day. And it's also going to help you stick to your meal plan. So meal planning is great, but if you're not actually following through and making the dinners that you plan, it's kind of a waste of your time, right? Today, I want to share with you my very best hacks for busy moms, and of course, busy dads. You can get in on this too, busy anybody. But since I myself am a busy work from home mom, I have 2 kids, I have a husband that are eating me out of house and home, literally. I do have a couple tricks up my sleeve that I use throughout the week to prep our meals and make sure that I'm consistently able to get dinner on the table. Now, don't get me wrong, I mess up too sometimes, but I found that when I really focus on prepping our meals, it makes a huge difference in how well we stick to our meal plan week after week. I want to hear from you. Let me know down in the comments whether you currently prep your meals for the week and if you found it helpful to you, if you found that it saved you a lot of time. I love to hear from you guys. Now let's get into the tips. The first thing I want to talk about is really taking the time to create your meal plan and create a good grocery list that goes along with your meal plan. When you are at the store shopping, you are really paying attention to your list, making sure you got everything you need. That way, during the week, you don't have to keep running back out to the store because you forgot things, and you're actually able to stick to your meal plan because you have all the ingredients that you need. If you guys are new to meal planning, and you're not sure how to meal plan, again, check out that video. I'm also going to link it in the description box so you can watch that and see my exact process. And I also created this meal plan starter kit for you guys. It includes a couple different printables that will help you get started with your meal planning journey. I'm going to leave the link to download that for free in the description box, so make sure you check that out. Another tip that is so important is cooking and prepping some of your food when you actually have time. Now, depending on your specific situation and your specific schedule, maybe dinner time is the craziest time of day for you, and it really makes you struggle to stop all the chaos going on and be able to get in the kitchen and cook your meal for your family. What I like to do is prep the meal or parts of a meal whenever I have time. So sometimes that actually means cooking in the morning when I was getting my kids ready for school. Of course, they're not in school right now, but I would get up and they'd be getting ready for school, eating breakfast, we'd be chatting, and maybe I'd be browning the hamburger that I was planning on using that night for Taco Tuesday. So cooking when you have time, when you can actually fit it into the margins of your day, is really going to help you relieve the stress around dinner time. Now, once I've browned the hamburger that morning, all I have to do for dinner is get the shells ready, cut up the vegetables, put everything out on the table, and we're ready to go. Another tip is to buy in bulk and actually separate out your meat or your cheese or whatever you're buying in bulk. This is going to give you much more usable portions and allow you to purchase things when the price is right and make sure that you're not wasting any of that food. So for example, sometimes I'll go to Sam's Club and I'll get a huge roll of hamburger, and it's actually really gross, but then I'll take the time to separate it. I believe it's 10 pounds, so I'll take the time to separate it out into 2-pound portions, which is perfect for my family because I like to either batch cook, which means I'll make 2 of the same meals at a time, eat one that night and toss one in the freezer, or we just like to make bigger portions that have a lot of leftovers so my husband can use them for his lunches for work the next couple of days. Buying in bulk and taking the time right away to actually split out these meals is going to save yourself the time of having to defrost this huge amount of meat so you can portion off what you need to cook for that night. Then it's going to allow you to store the rest of it adequately so you have it for future meals. If you are really low on time consistently on a weekly basis, another good tip would be to just pick one meat and stick with it for the whole week. Now, I know for some people they don't like eating the same foods over and over, but other people like my husband, they don't really care. If you're making them food, they're happy and they're eating it. Sometimes what I like to do is buy a giant pack of chicken breasts or chicken thighs, depending on what is on sale that week, and I will cook up all of the chicken. Sometimes I'll marinate it and my husband will toss it all on the grill. It makes a huge amount, and then every single night for dinner, all I have to do is make a different side and a different vegetable. You could even take that one step further and not even bother to season the meat in any way. So then when you use it each night, you could season it accordingly. So if you wanted to make hamburger all week long, one night you could use the ground beef to make tacos. The next night you could use the ground beef in a pasta bake. The next night you could make lettuce wraps. Basically, you're just gonna cook it all at one time and use what you need each night and adapt it to whatever meal you wanna make for that night. It takes a lot of the extra work out, and you're having to do a much smaller amount of cooking each night to actually get dinner on the table. Another option would be to do the same thing with sides or a veggie. Actually go ahead and batch cook that for the whole week. So you could roast a couple pans of mixed vegetables, and then you could have them all week long. I mean, mixed vegetables go with basically anything. Or you could take the time and bake a large amount of potatoes in the oven or in the Instant Pot, and then you would have those for the week. You could go ahead and cook off a couple boxes of pasta if you're somebody who really doesn't mind eating pasta often. If you're really busy and simply cannot find the time during the week to even do some of these tasks that I'm talking about, designating one day a week to batch cook everything and simply heat it up when you're ready to eat is another way to save a ton of time. You're going to need to carve out a couple of hours because it will take a time commitment to do this and prep your food for the whole week, but then you're done. When I used to work full-time and eat really healthy, I did this every single Sunday for hours. And I'll tell you what, I was exhausted when I was done, but then I didn't have to do it anymore throughout the week. I cooked once, I washed all the dishes once, I cleaned up the kitchen once, and the rest of the week was smooth sailing. Now, I know I quickly mentioned batch cooking, but I just want to touch on that again because that is a really great way to cook once and eat twice. The whole premise behind batch cooking is that, for example, if I were to make meatloaf and vegetables for my family tonight, I would actually double the recipe and make 2 pans that had meatloaf and vegetables in. Normally for my family, I take one, I put it in our chest freezer. That way, some other night when I don't feel like cooking, our food budget is lower and we need to kind of cut costs at the store that week, I'm able to just go downstairs, pull out the extra pan of meatloaf and potatoes, defrost it, cook it, and we have a complete dinner done for us. So I love the idea of building up a freezer stash. It's kind of there for you to lean on when you're in need. Some people will even take one day every month and make many meals and stash them in their freezer. And then they have that stock to pull from as often as they need. That's also a really great idea, maybe for somebody who's having a baby or having surgery, or somebody who's maybe going on a work trip and their spouse is going to be home alone with the kids. It's a really great way to build up that freezer stash and make sure that you're not going over budget on eating out during that time frame. Next, I want to talk about how to make life easier after grocery shopping. So you go to the store, you get everything you need, you come home, you put it all away, and you go on with life, right? Wrong. One of my favorite hacks is right when you get home from the grocery store, take some time to decant everything, meaning take it out of its containers and put it into other more useful containers. For example, my coffee goes into a big mason jar and sits in my coffee cabinet. That way, when I'm dying for some caffeine, I don't then have to sit there, open my coffee, take it out, pour it in. All of the granola bars and bars come out and go into glass jars that we have on our counter. And similarly, I like to take all the berries out of their containers, wash them, let them dry, put them in a Tupperware container, then they go in the fridge. I find they last so much longer, so they're not being wasted. Same thing with vegetables. I like to take my lettuce, wash it, put it in the salad spinner, and then transfer that to a reusable container and put it in the fridge. I eat keto and my family does not. So that way, when I'm making dinner for my family, I can quickly grab my lettuce, grab my vegetables, and throw my salad together at the same time, and I'm ready to sit down and eat right when I have dinner ready for them. Another tip along the same lines is when you are prepping your food, take some time before you get started and make sure that you have all the containers that you're going to need. They're washed, they're dried, they're sitting out, they have their lids, they're ready to go. And it might not save you that much time, but it's definitely going to save you some frustration along the way. When the food's ready, you can toss it in the container. It can sit on the counter to dry or cool. All you have to do is slap on the lids, throw it in the fridge, and you're done. Another thing I really like to do when I am meal prepping is try to clean up along the way. I love cooking, but I hate the cleaning up. There's nothing worse than being on your feet cooking and then looking around and your kitchen is trashed, right? I really like to try and clean up along the way. I pull the trash can out, have that next to me, so when I have trash, I can just throw it in the trash right away. Keep one side of the sink where the garbage disposal is clear, so when I have eggshells or food waste, I can just quickly toss that in the sink. And I like to rinse off the dishes along the way. That way, when I'm done, all I really have to do is wipe up the counters, take care of the dishes, and I'm done. If you have a spouse or a partner that really likes to help you in the kitchen, it would be a great idea to kind of have one of you cook and one of you clean along the way. That would really help cut down on the overall time that you're taking to prep and clean. One of my favorite meal prepping hacks is grabbing a rotisserie chicken, bringing it home. Do not put it in the fridge. It's so much easier to take all the meat off when it's warm or room temperature. Once you put it in the fridge, take everything off, and then I usually split it in two. And again, it depends on my meal plan for the week. If I need it all for that week, then I'll just put it all in the fridge. But if not, I will split it, put half in a glass bowl in the fridge, and I'll put the other half in a freezer bag and freeze it. That way we have it for a quick dinner later down the road. It's quick to take out, defrost fast, and you're good to go. Then I save all of the bones and all of my veggie scraps, and I use it to make my own homemade chicken stock. That way I have that anytime I need chicken stock for prepping any of my food. I have a whole bunch of jars just sitting right in the freezer, ready to go. Another tip that I love to tell people is when you're making meat, take it out of the fridge a couple hours ahead of time. It's not gonna go bad, I promise, unless you're living in like California with no air conditioning, then maybe skip this tip. But I think meat cooks more evenly when it's able to come to room temperature instead of coming straight out of being in the fridge for a few days and going right in the oven. I like to take my meat out a couple hours ahead of time. I just let it sit out on the counter, and that way I think it's a lot easier to work with when you're trying to cook. And my very last tip is to really utilize the kitchen tools that can help you be more efficient when you're cooking. My top two favorites are the slow cooker and the Instant Pot. Now, I know the Instant Pot can feel a little overwhelming. If you are a new Instant Pot user, or maybe you have an Instant Pot and you've never even tried it, then you have to take this free Instant Pot course. It's going to give you a whole bunch of recipes that you can use with your Instant Pot, and it teaches you exactly what it is and how to use it. So I'm also going to link that Instant Pot school down below. You can sign up for that. Again, it's completely free, and then you'll be an Instant Pot pro. And I'm telling you, once you learn how to use the Instant Pot, you are going to love it. It saves you so much time. It cooks things so much faster. What I love about the slow cooker is you can put everything in your slow cooker in the morning and just let it sit on your counter and cook all day long. And then come dinner time, your meal's ready for you. The other good thing about a slow cooker now that we're entering the warmer months of the year is it doesn't add a lot of heat to your home like the oven does. So I love to use the slow cooker on those days when it's gonna be super hot and I want to give my family a nice, good home cooked meal, but I really don't feel like slaving over a hot stove. Okay guys, so those are all of my very best top secret meal planning tips and hacks. They are going to save you so much time, I promise. Some of them might feel a little weird at first, like cooking in the morning, but once you get used to it, you are going to wonder how you ever got dinner made every night without them. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, I would love if you would subscribe and stick around for future videos. I make new videos every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please leave me your best meal prepping hack in the comments. I love to learn from you guys, and I know you'll have some awesome tips that everybody watching this video could learn from as well. I appreciate you so much, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.